Have you ever noticed something strange about your mind? Even when everything around you is quiet, your thoughts are not. You sit down to rest. The room is silent. Nothing urgent is happening. Yet your mind begins moving from one thought to another. Something you said earlier today. A decision you need to make. A mistake from years ago. A future scenario that may never happen. And suddenly, the moment that was supposed to be peaceful becomes crowded with noise. Many people believe that one day their minds will finally become calm. They imagine a future where everything is under control, where the right decisions have been made, where problems are solved and uncertainty disappears. They believe that when life becomes stable, the mind will finally relax. But something surprising often happens. Life becomes more stable, and the mind still refuses to rest. This confuses many people. They wonder why they cannot feel calm even when nothing is wrong. They assume something must be broken inside them. But the truth is much simpler. Your mind was never designed to be calm all the time. It was designed to keep you alive. For most of human history, survival depended on noticing problems before they appeared. The mind constantly scanned the environment for danger, uncertainty, and change. If it stopped paying attention, even for a moment, the consequences could be serious. So the brain evolved to be restless. It searches for problems. It analyzes possibilities. It simulates the future. Even when nothing is happening, it continues preparing for what might happen next. This ability helped humans survive for thousands of years. But in the modern world, the same system creates a different experience. Instead of scanning for predators in the wild, the mind now scans for social mistakes, future uncertainties, and imagined scenarios. It replays conversations. It questions decisions. It predicts problems that may never exist. The result is a constant feeling that something needs to be solved, even when there is nothing to solve. And so the mind keeps working. Most people respond to this by trying to control their thoughts. They search for techniques that promise instant calm. They try to silence the mind, to force it into stillness, to eliminate every unwanted thought. But the mind resists this. The more you fight your thoughts, the stronger they become. Trying to force calmness is like trying to smooth the surface of water with your hands. The harder you push, the more waves you create. Real calmness begins with a different realization. The goal is not to eliminate thoughts. The goal is to change your relationship with them. Right now, most people treat every thought as important. Each one feels like a message that must be analyzed or solved. When a thought appears, attention immediately follows it. The mind says, "Think about this," and we obey. But thoughts are not commands. They are simply mental events that appear and disappear. Imagine sitting beside a quiet road and watching cars pass by. Some are fast, some are slow, some are loud, some are barely noticeable. But you do not chase them. You simply watch them pass. Your thoughts can be observed in the same way. When you stop chasing every thought, something subtle begins to change. The mind continues producing ideas, memories, and questions. That is what minds do. But you no longer feel pulled into each one. A small space appears between you and the noise. And inside that space, something unexpected can happen. Calmness. Not because the mind became silent, but because you stopped fighting it. This is one of the quiet paradoxes of inner peace. The mind does not become calm when everything in life is perfect. It becomes calmer when you stop demanding perfection from it. You stop expecting your thoughts to behave exactly the way you want. You stop believing that every mental loop must be solved immediately. Instead, you allow thoughts to exist without turning them into problems. Over time, the mind begins to slow down naturally. Not because it was forced to, but because it no longer feels pressure to control every possibility. This is why many moments of clarity appear when we are not trying to force them. During a walk, while staring out of a window, while sitting quietly with nothing to do. These are moments when the mind finally relaxes its grip on control. And when control loosens, understanding often appears. You realize that many of the thoughts that once felt urgent were simply noise passing through awareness. You begin to see that calmness is not something you create. It is something that appears when the constant struggle with your own mind begins to fade. This does not mean the mind will always be quiet. There will still be restless nights, moments of overthinking, periods of uncertainty. But those moments will no longer feel like enemies. They will simply be part of the natural movement of the mind. And something deeper remains steady beneath them. A quiet awareness that observes everything without becoming trapped by it. When people imagine inner peace, they often imagine a mind that has completely stopped thinking. But true peace is not the absence of thought. It is the ability to live alongside your thoughts without being controlled by them. The mind continues moving, but you remain still. And in that stillness, something becomes clear. Calmness was never something you had to chase. It was always there, quietly waiting behind the noise.